Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Welcome to my channel, guys. Welcome to Girls for STEM. I'm so happy to have you, everybody. Thank you for coming, guys. And I just wanted to say that we are here to encourage girls pursue STEM here. We are here to acknowledge other scientists who have navigated this sector, and we're here to also encourage the girls to encourage the girls to pursue STEM and also to expose them to the endeavors, the technology, so that they can have a good feel of technology. So thank you so much, guys, for coming. And today I've got very exciting guests, guys. And so let's start. I'm going to bring in Nam. Hi, Nam. How are you?
Christian, I'm good. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much, Nam, for coming to my show. I really do appreciate. I know you guys are very busy all the time. If it's not work, if it's some projects, things like that. So I'm really privileged for you, to see you here on my show. So
Um,
again, this is a platform where we encourage girls to pursue science, technology, engineering, and mathematics because there are very few women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we're also here to showcase other engineers, other scientists, other technologists that are pursuing this career. The reason is to encourage the young ones so that they can see in real life that there are other engineers who are pursuing. And one of the things that I get asked is like, especially for men, they're like, "Oh, Kirsten, you're saying girls for STEM, but I'm not a girl." So I tell them, no, we need men, we need boys as well. The only thing is because there are few women in engineering, and particularly I was mentored by men in my career, so we need them. So today I have Nam. Nam, I'll let you introduce yourself.
hey everyone, I'm Nam Patel. Currently I'm in California. I'm a mechanical validation engineer at a biotech company. We are doing a lot of research on med devices and kind of combination product. Before that, me and Kristen used to work together at the grad school in a research lab. We were
Yes.
doing some cool stuff and a 3D printing. Kristen guided me a lot in that. Before that, in India, I was a process engineer for a small company. I was doing designing and all. And a little bit about my educational background. I had a MSc Manufacturing Systems Engineering degree, and from Cal State Northridge. And before that, I had a mechanical degree from India. So I'm kind of like I started in mechanical, and you can see I ended up in biotech. So I went from cars to drugs. So as
Yes.
Kristen said, I like as you can get it, like STEM is a very big field, and I never imagined that I'll be here. So I'm doing that I've never imagined that I'm gonna do, and I really like it. So yeah, it's a really good field, and thank you so much, Christian, to giving me this opportunity to share
Wow.
this and giving me this platform to help someone who can understand what a STEM is. And you're doing a great job. I really appreciate that, and you're helping a lot of people. So
Wow.
thank you so
Wow. Thank you so much, Nam. I really do appreciate that word. Thank you so much. Yes, I've worked with Nam. He was doing his graduate degree there. And very, very committed person in terms of career and STEM. And that's why I wanted to bring you here to come and share with us how you navigated STEM. So I'll start with this now. How did you get into STEM? The question is, I would like to understand how STEM kids can navigate how to enter into STEM. So when you were growing up, let's go back. I don't know if you can remember, maybe 4 or 5 years back in India. So
much.
share with my viewers what happened. Okay, are your parents in STEM or how did it happen?
Oh, that's a crazy story. None of my parents graduated high school.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So I was like all of my brothers,
Yes,
all of my uncles and all. They were never like good at school, and I was always passionate about like playing with things. I had a lot of remote control cars, and I
yes,
always thought that I'm gonna end up in like a good automobile company. And
yes,
I always told my dad like, Dad, I want to do something with cars. And he's like,
yes,
Yeah, became an engineer and you'll do something. I'm like, but how? I don't know how to do it. And he's like, yeah, first you become the engineer, you'll find out. So like after graduating the high school, I did score really good, and I got admission in engineering school back in India in mechanical engineering because I was kind of good in all the physics, all the
yes.
thermals and all.
Hmm.
So I was always passionate about like all the working things. I was always
Yes,
curious about like how this thing happens, how this thing is working. So that's how I ended up in like mechanical engineering.
yes.
So that's like I was always curious about like machines and car, most probably all the cars. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I ended up in like engineering. But when I was growing up, I didn't know that all of the things are related to engineering and all of the things are related to STEM. But
Yes,
then I found out in my undergrad. So as soon as I started my undergrad, I understood that mechanical or engineering is just not cars. There is like 1,000 things under
there's a
engineering.
thousand things of
There's
engineers that.
1,000 things. And as I started learning, I developed my interest in designing. You know that I was a
Yes,
designing guy in the
you
research.
were the best. Oh my God, in designing, you were excellent. I learned a lot from you.
And that's too much, but I knew a little bit of designing. So
Not a little bit, Nam.
it's you're a good friend. So I was curious about designing, and I was like, after my undergrad, I'm like, this much is like I did know something about engineering and designing, but then I understood there's like aerospace, there is a biotech, there is a 3D printing, which is newly evolving. Back in India, that was not a big thing when I graduated. So I thought it's like I need to step up. Only engineering cannot just help me. Like only undergrad cannot help me to expose what I'm trying to do.
Yes,
So that's how I got into like that's how I came here and meet you guys. So
yes, yes,
that's
yes.
how it happened. So I think the reason I ended up doing STEM was all the curiosity
Mm-hmm.
and all the things I used to do and all the small things you notice in everything.
Yes,
Because always you see something, you try to find out the reason that how it's working and how it's designed. So that small thing and always a curious side of yours always
yes.
helps you to like get to know more. And as far as I know, everything is related to STEM.
Wow. And it's very interesting when you talk about when you were young, you were curious. I always want to tell my viewers that when you see the kids are very curious, they're asking questions about things. Um, Back home where I come from, mostly when kids are asking about something, you asking too much, and then we ask them away, get out of here, you're asking too much. But we have to understand that that's the point where we can tell that this kid is definitely interested in pursuing STEM, or actually reasoning at a point where they want to find out what's happening, how is this made of. Because I also see you, hear you saying that you're asking your dad, how is this made? And then your dad says, if you do engineering, right? He
Yeah,
said, if you do engineering, you'll be able to
to
understand.
understand how it's going on.
So, do you think this is the moment where it sparked to you that I really need to do engineering? For example, if your dad never said that, what do you think?
Yeah, that's kind of the reason how I ended up being an engineer.
Yes,
I would like yeah, I completely give credit to my dad and my family who always like understood that I wanted to study, but I don't know what to study.
Yes.
And they understood that I'm a kind of curious about how things work and all. So there was, as you said, there was the changing point, or that was the designing point, and like deciding point, where like I decided and my family understood that I can be engineer.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that
And
was kind of,
from that point, you just kept on going. And did you see any engineers around you or doctors, or it's just now you could see that there are other engineers out there?
um. So I'm from India. There are a lot of doctors in like my friend and family group.
Yes.
Um, So there were like not a lot of doctors around me. A lot of my cousins went to like grad school,
Yes.
but they ended up doing their own business or joining their father's business and something like that.
Yeah.
And all of my a few of my friends went out of India pursuing like this other masters or PhD degrees,
Yes.
but but there were a bunch of people who like I grew up with. They ended up in a STEM degree.
Wow. And we have a perception that Indians are very smart, you know.
We can say that we are like 1.3 billion of us, so
I think that's the ratio would say
and
that
that it's a
that's
number game.
yeah, it's a number game. Again, guys, this is Nam. He's an engineer. He works for medical. It's drugs, right?
Yeah,
Drugs, not
it's a biotech
manufacturing.
company. So
Mm-hmm.
company creates all these cool devices where you don't need the doctors. So it's called the biotech. We're working on a combination products where you just put the product on your body and
Yes,
it injects the drug. The company name is Amgen,
yes.
and I think Joseph might be here, so Joseph can share a lot of things about it. Me and Joseph both work together.
Yes, yes. I think he's coming on my show very soon. Wow. That's very interesting story, Nam, that you are giving us. So now, can you share with us any challenges that you faced from the time you started your engineering up to where you are here? You know, especially in terms of trying to pursue engineering, like, you know, classes, things like that. Any challenges or people around something? Have you had any challenges?
I would say challenges that I had was I can remember only one thing when I came here for my grad school.
Yes.
Back in India, education system is kindly like a little bit different from here. And when I came here, I didn't I didn't expected like this big of a switch where you have to cope up, where you have to like speed up and catch up with everything that's going around you.
Yes. And you had to learn English as well, right?
I was speaking English back in India fine, but English was like where I come from. My English is my third language, not even second language. So it was kind of a little switch, a little you have to keep up kind of a thing when I came here. Um, but luckily I met a lot of good people. One of them is you,
Yes.
Joseph, Mo, Hoshang, and yeah, it was like when you come from different country and try to be here, and it's a really good thing. I think that period of time, I think that one semester, I understood that I have a lot of potential, but I
Yes.
was not using it. So I think the first semester when I joined the season, there were a lot of things going on together. I was working at like I was volunteering at the research. I was looking for a part-time job. I
Yes,
was
I remember.
I was working with Dr. Chang, and they were like I was taking 4 classes. So it was kind of a very pressurized situation. But I think everyone should be there. Everyone should understand that kind of that pressurized situation where you go and understand how much you can do. I thought I can just be in a like a mechanical engineer, and I'm just gonna live with that tag. But when I came here, I understood that I can work under pressure. I can do a lot of good things. So
You
I
know,
did.
now I really like, sorry to cut you short. I really like when you say you understand in STEM, that's where you can understand yourself and know that you have got so much potential that you can unleash. It gives you these skills that make you start understanding things that you can do. Even if you're not in STEM, you are actually capable of doing so many things. But
Yeah.
STEM makes you realize that when you look around, you're like, I can fix that. I think I can do this. Your brain just start. I don't know if it's me or you
No,
guys experience.
that is also one good thing, and I would like to share that in the STEM, when you come and join this kind of this kind of programs, there are all smart people around you.
Yes,
They're
yes,
all good brains. So you always learn from your company. So
yes,
when everyone like in the room, all of their like genius mind,
mhm,
your mind will work really good because
yes.
you're getting a really good inspiration. So I think like going into like a grad school, meeting you guys,
Mhm.
it kind of made me more smarter. So
And it's like a challenge, and you want to learn. I learned from you a lot. I learned how you think, how you process things. It's good to be a team player, to be around smart people. And sometimes you think you're not smart, but there's something about you that people want
yeah,
to learn from you, right?
yes.
So, that's why, STEM, it's just a marvel, I think, to be in.
I I always push my cousins, all of my like friends who is now in the high school,
Yes,
um, always push them to at least go because we can understand how smart they are, how curious they are.
yeah,
So I always tell them like if you really want to do the such things, go into STEM, do anything, computer, mechanical, whatever they like. Go
yes.
into STEM, challenge yourself.
Hmm.
Because in the STEM you challenge yourself and bring out the good out of you.
Yes.
So
Wow.
I always tell people, and I hope everybody gets successful. So
Yes.
I really appreciate that you are doing this and helping a lot of like lots and lots of people around the world.
Yeah,
So
please let's share. Please share in India, share everywhere, guys. We need to reach as many people because this is a very good career. It's a lucrative career. It's a career that changes your community, it changes your environment, it changes a lot of things, and it's not that difficult the way people have put it that
it's
you have to
yeah,
be this genius to pursue science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
you'll become genius if you go in there. It's kind of a thing. You don't need a lot of skills, but you will learn a lot of skills.
Exactly. Wow. Now that's very interesting, and I'm so glad to for you to be here, and I'm sure my viewers are. So the other question is: now you and me come from a developing country, and we are here in United States, me and you, and not even here in United States, there are parts of United States that are not privileged as we are maybe here in California. So what would you say to a girl growing up or a boy growing up? How can they pursue science, technology, engineering? Could you speak to them?
I'll just say try and hustle. You'll make it.
I like that
If
has
you, yeah, if you decide something, if you want to be there, it's like especially in this country where you get a lot of help. I know it's a big amount of help that you have to pay after your career when you start your career in
Yes,
this. But I would say if you're thinking about going to STEM, you should do it. It's a really good idea. I thought I'm gonna end up in a really crappy job back in India, but I'm doing the job that I like, and I'm not kidding. I really love my job, and it's a really good career. There's like now I can see there are like now I'm at that point that I understand there is not a one thing that I can do in a biomedical technology or biomedical companies. There's
yes.
like thousand more things.
Mm-hmm.
You step up, you step into something, and there's like a thousand doors. You step into one door, there's thousand doors. So STEM is kind of a really really big thing. So whoever wants to do it, don't be shy. Don't think twice. Just do it. It's gonna be fun, and you learn a lot of things.
Wow, yes, you learn a lot of things. There are so many things in STEM, and also just different careers. For example, NAM is into medical, how do you call it? Medical drugs or
I think it's called biotech.
biotech, and I'm in aerospace. So, there are just so many fields. And remember, you also mentioned that earlier on you were interested in cars.
I was always interested in automobiles.
My dream was to work for Mercedes Benz.
Oh, but you kidding
That
me?
was
I
my
always wanted to work for Mercedes. I always wanted to work for. Still, I like. Still today, I have a dream that I'll go and work in Mercedes F1 team, design that fast car, and work around it. That's still a dream.
Yeah. Wow. So we think about certain things, and then when we grow up or we start going to our careers, we like, let me stay in aerospace. And we're going to hear more, guys, when Joseph comes. We always talk, me and him, we're very controversial about which which career to go in. So it's interesting, guys, when you are in STEM, there are so many things that you can do. There are so many careers, but when you enter into it, that's when you realize, wow, there are thousands and
There's
thousands of
thousands and thousands things.
that you can do. Now, thank you so much, and I hope you can come again.
I
Um,
really wish I can come again. Please invite me.
Please, we will invite you. Would like to hear more and more about STEM and what you're doing. I really appreciate. So I'm going to bring in my next
And
viewer, guys. I'm going to bring in Joseph.
thank you so much, Christian. And hey, Joseph.
I'd like you to say hi to Joseph now, maybe
Hey,
before you
Joseph.
leave.
And I want to
Hi.
say hi to all of the guys who had a lot of chats going on. I didn't quite had time to say hi to them.
And Christian here is saying hi to you
Hey,
too.
Christian, how are you?
Wow. No,
Yeah,
thank you so much now.
thank you so much, Christian. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I hope you inspire a lot of people.
Yes, yes. And please stay tuned. Keep watching. Hi, Joseph. How are you? I hope you heard what I was talking about. I'm like,
Yes.
in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, there are so many fields inside there. And you guys, worked with Joseph. We were planning to, we were going to go into, he was in aerospace as well, but then he ditched. So can you talk about that, how you ditched us in aerospace and went to another field?
Of course. How are you doing, Kirsten?
We can't hear you, Joseph. I think you're muted. Yeah, now we
Oh,
can hear you.
oh, can you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. How are you doing today, Kirsten?
Thank you so much.
So, yeah,
I
about
think you
my
need to put a notch up on your volume.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
One more notch it up.
Oh, you can't hear me very loudly?
Yes. Yes, now we can.
Oh, okay. Um, so your question was about my switch from aerospace, right?
Yeah, I think it's still not so clear. Your volume is
Hmm.
still zooming in and out.
Let me change my headsets. I think it
No
might be the
problem.
headset.
Sure. I'll give you a few minutes, okay? So I'll wait for you. So, guys, hi, guys. Please put some comments. If you have questions, guys, leave some comments there, ask questions. Thank you so much for coming. And if you're coming here for the first time, guys, please don't forget to subscribe. This is a platform where we encourage girls pursue science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There are very few women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and we're trying to see if we can talk about this. We can showcase engineers, scientists, healthcare professionals that have been through engineering, science, and technology. This is to show the girls that this career is doable, and also to share the challenges that they have, and also the some of the things they can also share. It's also what they've gone through, what advice. And from you guys, your questions, we can ask these guys, what they are going through, what we need to learn from them. Joseph, are you ready?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me better now?
Much, much better.
Oh yeah, really, really sorry about the first time. So you asked a question about my decision to switch from from aerospace to another industry.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, as of the time I worked in aerospace, I think I was pretty early in the career. Well, I'm still kind of early in the career, but as of that time, my much of my impulse was to move to another field to learn something more.
Yes.
Um, because it's part of what we talked about last week that
Yes.
sometimes in STEM, the vastness of STEM makes it difficult for one to easily settle down in just one field. So
Yes.
one has to learn a little bit about, pretty much learn something about everything before deciding to learn everything about something.
Yes.
So for me, that was part of what made me go from I was in aerospace for a couple of months, then I went to Transit, which is a company that manufactures trains,
Yes.
and I was there for about 8 months or so. After that, hi Mubanga. After that, I went to biotech and I've been there for a year and a half now, and I think I like it here.
Wow. I am so sad that you left aerospace. So, sometimes it's funny, you guys, because, but engineering is the same thing, regardless where you are. You want to still, you still experience the same things. But sometimes you want to share certain pain, certain
Yeah.
ideas. I was like, Joseph, come on, you should come back to aerospace and things like that. Wow. So, Joseph, the other thing I want to ask you is, last time we talked about, how engineers can enhance themselves. So, what are the things that engineers can do to enhance themselves? We just scratched a little bit from last time.
Uh-huh. Um, I think the primary one is so we do I emphasize resume writing,
Yes.
skills. A good resume, if you write a good resume, oh my gosh, it can move mountains for you. Like,
Yes.
but the issue with writing a good resume is that one needs to have good experience to
Yes.
put on a resume to make it good. To have a great resume, you need to have some content, some
Correct.
good content to put in there, because the resume can only be as good as the content that is in the resume.
Yes.
So the first thing I would say is get skill, especially at the entry level. If you're in college, is I was at the NESB meeting a couple of months ago at CSUN to talk to the undergrads. And one thing I told them there was that, um, many of you work who are students have to work while you're in school to support yourselves. If you're
Yes.
going to work while you're in school, it's always a great idea to find something related to what you're studying to work in. So um, let's pick a STEM career, for example, being a nurse, for example, because I know we've been talking a lot about engineering, so
Yes.
we have to give something for the nurses and the
Health
doctors.
professionals, yes, yes, definitely. Because they're also part of this,
Yes,
yes.
they're also part of STEM. So if you're going to be a nurse, for example, a great a great side thing to do while you're a student is work as, say, as a nursing assistant, or work as a caregiver or something. Those things, they work hand in hand with your academic life, in
Yes,
that you're getting more knowledge from what you see in the field. You can relate it more, so you would end up having better grades. And of course, when you graduate from college, imagine you you have a 4-year degree, and then you spend the last 2 years
Yeah.
working part-time. And part-time, when working, you don't have to work full 40 hours while you're in college. I would say if you can work 10 hours, it's okay. You know, um, when you if you imagine working 2 years for the last 2 years while you're in college, you know, in the field, by the time you graduate, you already have 2 years of experience. So
Yes.
you
Yes.
have 2 years of experience and a bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
That sets you above other candidates. A lot of people do think
You
that
know what?
grades are the most
Emphasize on
important
this,
thing.
Joseph.
Yes,
Emphasize on this.
yes.
Really, really important because
A lot
sorry
of
not to cut you short.
of
I
course.
just want to tell my viewers that I've also made another video concerning this. That work in the lab, go work. Help a professor, even if it's just volunteering. Go in there and help him out. Most professors they work. Most professors are so busy, not that they cannot do their job, but you can make their life much easier to go help them in the lab or the research. Just participate in anything that you can do. Yeah, go ahead, Joseph.
Yes, so I was saying that that experience is really important because a lot of people do think these days that having good grades
Mm-hmm.
is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right now, from what I've seen, having great grades will get you into a job
Yes.
ahead of someone with with worse grades than you, but it will not get you into a job ahead of someone with an advanced degree than you have,
Yes.
and it will definitely not get you into a job ahead of someone with more experience than you have. So there are people who graduate with, with great grades, but they can't find a job as easily as people with experience. I have a friend who put this into practice. Right now, he's working also in biotech. He's working in the manufacturing side of a biotech company,
Yes.
and he was in his final year in college when he actually started working. So by the time he was done with college, he
Mm-hmm.
had 1 year of experience. He had jobs lining up for him before
Yes.
he graduated. As a matter of fact, when he quit his final job or
Mm-hmm.
his most recent job to go to where he is now,
Mm-hmm.
his director was, pulling all sorts of antics just to keep him. And this is
Yes.
at a time in the country, in the United States, where companies were laying people off,
Yeah.
where it was hard to find a job. But for him, because of the experience he
Mm-hmm.
had just that, it really turbocharges your experience as a candidate if you
Yeah.
have some experience. And experience doesn't necessarily mean you need to get a job. You could work in something just related.
Yeah.
As an engineer, you don't have to work as an engineer while you're in college. You could be
Mm-hmm.
a 3D drafter, for example. I know
Correct.
someone who all he did was, make drawings, make drawings,
Yes.
make drawings, things like that. And essentially, if you know how to do those things, I think that it helps your career move along much quickly.
Yes, and you can even ask for being a TA. We should have asked Nam about that earlier
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Yes. Meaning you can support the professor, and that's what Nam did. He actually, someone who's like a tutor in the class, supporting.
Yeah.
He's your peer. He's in your class, but they are more learned. They know, they understand more, so they use them
Yes.
as TA in the class. And Nam was one of those which we benefited immensely from him. Uh, he used to guide us, and that's very true. So then Joseph, we also talked about some kind of certifications. How can they enhance themselves in terms of certifications, especially engineers, scientists, technologists, and professional healthcares?
Yes. So, these days, and in 5, 10 years from now, it will become very, very clear that the pace at which the industry is changing, the pace at which the world is changing, requires some sort of retooling of the engineer, of being an engineer. It requires you to improve yourself continually. It requires you to to sometimes change your skill set very quickly. You know, some there are entire industries that will be obsolete in 15 years from now.
Yes.
Um, some people believe that, say, an industry as lucrative as petroleum engineering, for example, some people believe that's going to be obsolete in 20 years. You know,
Yeah.
it's not going to be, there won't be as many jobs there as there are today. Um, so one thing is clear: one needs to learn how to develop a new skill in a short time. It's
Yeah.
very important. One needs to learn how to develop a new skill in a short time. And the beauty about many of these new skills is that one does not necessarily have to go to a college or to a university to get like a 4-year degree. And one doesn't need that anymore. um, there are many organizations that are respected and reputed in the
Yes.
industry that offer a lot of certification programs, and we can give many fields. Let's take a field like project management, for example,
Yes.
and it depends on your field. In the project management, across all around the world right now, in project management, the premium is the gold standard of being a project management is called the PMP, the project management professional.
Yes.
That's like the premium. Right now, it's even some some companies would post jobs, and you'll be surprised to see that they will ask you either need to have an MBA or a PMP.
Yes. Yeah. I
And the
remember
PMP
one
now
time.
is like an MBA on its own.
Exactly. Yeah. And I remember one time when we were in class, remember in one of our lecturers, and then I said, I see these companies asking for these certifications,
Hmm.
and I have none. I'm about to graduate. I said, what are these? I was asking the professor, I'm like, what are these and how do I get them? But that's a mind of an engineer trying to ask. You see certain things your
Yes.
friends are having, or your friends are having certification, you become curious, right? You
Yes.
see things, you're like, okay, how can I be like that? How can I enhance myself so that I can get to another level? How do I get this course? We have to think like that. Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead, Joseph.
Yes. So in project management, there's the PMP. In other fields, in like software engineering, or on the software engineering side of project management, there are some certifications like Scrum, which Agile Scrum. There's some where there's the CSM, that's Certified Scrum Master, and there are other certifications like that. In IT, there are the CISA, you
Yes.
know, different. So essentially, one good way to know what certification to take, this is
Mhm.
one way that will work every single time. Go on LinkedIn, look for
Yes.
the kinds of positions you want to get into,
Hmm.
and then look at the requirements.
Yes.
If you look at 20 job postings, you'll be it will be easy for you to know what jobs or what certifications you need to look into. Because you see some would keep repeating themselves,
Hmm.
and it's not just certifications. Sometimes it's software,
Yes.
or in software engineering or computer science, it's a programming language.
Hmm.
Sometimes there's some programming languages like C sharp, C plus plus, Java, JavaScript, HTML, you
Hmm.
know. And if you're in data science, there are there's a coding language called R, and other things like the SQL, you
Yes.
know. So it depends on the field you want to go into. In nursing, you could have things like the certification there's called in the United States, there's one called the CNA, that's
Hmm.
the Certified Nursing Assistant. That doesn't require any academic experience
No.
to get
Yes.
into. Um, so even a CNA position is something one can do while in nursing school.
Yeah.
While in nursing school, you can get a CNA certification and work as a CNA. Then there's the the licensed vocational nurse. That's the LVN. That's higher than the CNA. After that, there's the registered nurse. Often
Yes.
you need an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree to be able to challenge for that, to be able to challenge the board for that certification for the registered nurse. And then there's the nurse practitioner. Usually you need like an advanced degree for that.
Yes.
But all of these careers have their own individual certifications that are the gold standards of
Mm-hmm.
the industry, at least for now. Because and I usually say it's better to put your energy on getting skills,
Mm-hmm.
especially in STEM. Now, I don't know about other fields like maybe banking or something like that. Maybe going to a school with a lot of reputation will help you with your career. But in engineering, it would be nice if you went to Harvard, but it wouldn't make a lot of difference in terms of the opportunities you will get. So you want to pay attention to your skills. You want to pay attention to crafting your experience to support your skill set.
Yes, yes. And that happens to anyone, guys, regardless of which field you are in. It's good to keep looking and saying, what else can I enhance myself? What else can I do? I think that would really, really help you instead of just being in the same area. Of course, it's comfortable. You don't have to study, you don't have to do anything, but it's worth trying. No, thank you so much, Joseph. We really do appreciate. Next time, maybe we can share with them all these, companies that are offering these certifications
Okay.
for different types of careers. Thank you so much, Joseph. So again, this platform, we encourage girls to pursue science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, Joseph. So I can't still let you go without asking. So what would you still say to a girl growing up out there? How can they venture into this career?
Yes. To any girl out there who is thinking about going into STEM, I want you to know that STEM is a field big enough to contain you and to contain as many boys as possible.
Mm-hmm.
In STEM, there's no gender. In STEM, what is required is to have a great STEM career. What is required is to come in there with the heart to learn, with the heart to serve, with the heart to make the community better. If you come in, there's space for you, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. You cannot even imagine how big this field is.
Yes.
In the next 15 years or so,
Mm.
a study has been released by Google that
Yeah.
there's going to be a deficit of 25% of in terms of positions in STEM
You know what
that
I
they
was
need to
reading the
fill.
other day? They talked about 10 million positions.
Yes,
Guys.
a lot of like a huge
Mm.
deficit. And when you
Yes.
think about that, on even on the economic side, now this is a supply and demand issue. Now,
Yes.
and in demand and supply, once you see that the supply is short, then the
Uh-huh.
price goes up. So in STEM, when we don't have as many engineers as we need, then the pay of engineers has to go up. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of money to be made. But most of all, with STEM, you are very, very, you get the skills to be able to make your community better. You get
Better.
the skills to be able to improve the world around you. So STEM is, if you feel like going to STEM, I encourage it. If you don't feel like going into STEM, I still encourage it. You'll be amazed
That
to
way.
find what you'll be amazed to find. I certainly believe that in STEM, there's a career for everybody. There's a career for everybody in
Tell
STEM.
them there
There's a
is a
there's
career
something
for.
for everybody.
Yes, there is. Wow.
So I always encourage everybody to, just to try it out. The fact that you're not good at math today doesn't mean you cannot be good at math tomorrow. It
Yes.
doesn't mean that the fact that you failed chemistry. I almost failed chemistry when I took my the equivalent of the SATs.
Yes.
Um when I took that, I almost failed chemistry. I barely passed, but but I mean, I work in engineering now, so I
Guys,
think that
he's
is
saying he
important.
nearly passed, but I'll tell you, I was with Joseph. He was doing his master's at the time when I was doing my bachelor's, and very dangerous, smart person. So, what I'm trying to say is, you may fail today or tomorrow, but it doesn't determine your destiny, right,
Yeah.
Joseph? It
No, it
doesn't
doesn't.
determine that you are that's the end of you. I always
Yeah.
give an example. I failed in grade 7. I repeated, my sister found me, and then I also failed in at when I was at Evelyn Horn. I had to repeat. I felt like 2 classes. I had to repeat again. So, guys, I just want to tell you that it doesn't matter what is going on
Yeah.
with you. You will be able to get through.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. It's and I think that's something we need to encourage everybody to know, that you can always sometimes, and this is not just with STEM, but with everything in life,
Yeah.
sometimes when you have an aspiration and you cannot see a way to make it happen because of the circumstance of today. um Sometimes that can be depressing, but this is what I would always tell everybody: just make a little step, a little
Mhm.
step, a little step, a little step. One day, when I was in the US, I worked for about 10 months as a delivery driver. I didn't believe that I could start work as an engineer. But I made a little step one day. I went to deliver a package to a job, and I asked to a company, and I asked them at the company that, I was willing to work for free because I just needed that little step to get a foot in the door. And they took a chance on me. I worked there for about a year. I went to college, you
Mm.
know, then I took a little step, went to work at a low-paying job in aerospace. I took a little step, went to another company. I took a little step, and now I'm where I am. And it's these little steps, and sometimes in the moment it might not seem like a lot, but when you keep taking these
They
little
add
steps,
up to
one day you
something.
turn back and you'll be like,
Whoa.
oh, so just take that little step. You might have failed chemistry maybe this term or this semester. Study some more chemistry.
Yes.
Study some more chemistry. You can pass, and you will pass. Just study some more. Get somebody in your class who knows that better. Get somebody who's better at math. Be friends with them. Do your homework with them. you know Try to understand it. When the teacher teaches the class, ask the teacher questions. Even if the your classmates laugh at you today,
Mm.
eventually a day will come when they
Yeah.
will be coming to you to ask
Me,
you,
I used to
please
ask
help me
people that
out.
they want to make some sounds and look at me. In the end, I see them. The question that I asked when the professor started explaining, everybody starts writing. I'm like,
Yeah,
I asked that question.
yeah,
What are you guys?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
No, that's interesting. No, Joseph, thank you so much.
Of
I really,
course,
really
of
do
course,
appreciate. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you again, come here and we can enjoy together the
of
STEM Hangout.
course, of
So my
course.
next viewer I'm going to bring is Zoe. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Zoe. I hope she can hear me. Let's see. Hi, Zoe. Okay, she's not coming. Let's see. I'll take on Daniel. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you? Can you hear
Thank you
me?
so much, so much. Good. As it's good morning for you, it's good evening, right? For you guys.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning, good evening to you. Thank you so much, Daniel, for coming to my show. And I wanted to call you little brother because Beatrice called you little brother. I was like, oh my God, I'll save him as little brother too. So thank you so
Yeah,
much
that's
for
perfectly
coming.
fine.
Thank you for
Thanks for
coming.
having me.
Yes. So,
Sure.
this platform is Girls for STEM. We're here to encourage girls pursue STEM, and I hear you are in engineering. So, I would like you first to introduce yourself, where you're working, and of course, where you are right now.
All right. Okay. So my name is Daniel, and I currently work for NAPSA, which is the National Pension Scheme Authority. It's the authority in Zambia that handles everyone's pension. And
Yes.
my duty there is systems architect in the
Mhm.
IT project department, which in simple terms simply means that whenever the authority needs an IT system to do something, maybe
Yes.
to make certain services better for everyone, I
Yes.
am involved in getting the requirements and translating them into a design that eventually becomes a system.
Wow, wow, that's so interesting to hear that. So, Daniel, I would like to hear, how did this STEM career start? If you can share a story. So, we're here to share this story so that the girls, the boys growing up, they can see how, your life can change, or, how they can maneuver. So, how did your STEM begin?
Okay, great question. And like Nam and Joseph, my story is not so different. I suppose as a child, I was always interested in how things worked. I actually used to
Yes.
get in trouble with my mom a lot. She would buy me a toy, and I would open it up to see what
Really?
made it tick.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, so that curiosity built over when in 10th grade I was exposed to computer science,
Mm-hmm.
and I took I took an interest in how computers worked, and in particular software and programming is what really got my attention. I was
Yes.
amazed at how websites worked, things like that. And, you click a button, this happened. So that really got me super interested in computer science. And when I finished high school,
Yes.
going into university, yeah, unfortunately, my points were off by just one, so I couldn't get into computer science right
Yes.
there and then, but I could get into business administration.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
And
I
then what
went
happened?
into business. Yeah, I went into business administration, but 3 years later, an IT degree was introduced where I was, and I made a very big decision to
Wow.
switch at that point. And in retrospect, it was one of the best decisions I ever made, and here I am today. So yeah.
Wow. That's your story is very interesting, especially when you decide to switch. I know there are people listening here, and there are people out there who have so scared to make decisions. And your story is very, appealing to most of us. I also made a decision very late in my career that I need to pursue engineering. You can imagine. So when I hear people like you who made a decision after some time, it's really, really encouraging, and to see that other people can make that decision as well. So you changed from business, and then how long did it take for you to finally complete your engineering?
Okay. Yeah. So at the time, the IT degree on offer was a 5-year program. So I made the switch in 2010, and
Yes.
I graduated in 2016. Yeah, so I finished in 2015, and then the ceremony was in 2016. So it took around 5 years to get my IT degree. Yeah.
Wow, that's so encouraging, guys. So you can switch, you can make a decision, and you can join the career that you want. This is an example of what Daniel did. Wow, that's interesting. So, Daniel, what would you say to a girl growing up? There are few women in engineering for girls growing up. Of course, we also want boys to join, just like most of the boys. But what would you say to these kids growing up concerning engineering, and also knowing that resources are different everywhere? I'm here in the United States, and yes, you are in Zambia. So what would you say to a girl growing up?
I would definitely say that it's never too early to
Yes.
start considering what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as Joseph said, I have to agree that there's a career for everyone in STEM. It's so broad and it has so many fields. Something is definitely going to pique your interest.
Yes.
So it's never too early to start thinking about what you want to do. So that's the advice I would give. So start exploring things that you feel you are naturally drawn to.
Yes.
Um, and then start to speak to people in your life if you have those people who
Yes.
can sort of like tell you about how they got to where they are. And as you take that interest, it just builds that momentum in you, and things just start to become a little bit more clear. So it's never too early to start thinking about what you want to do.
Wow, that's true, guys. So make sure you especially young people that are listening, be encouraged, keep that drive, keep that. Even if something happens in between, keep that on your mind. Same thing happened to me. In Zambia, we were very less privileged when I was there, and this is a passion I could see. I was very curious about things. But when I came here to United States, I was given that opportunity. But so keep that fire burning, keep it there, and you never know what it's going to take you to. Thank you so much, Daniel. We hope to see you again so we can discuss more and more about STEM. This is a platform where we can hang out, showcase to these kids coming up that they can pursue STEM. They can as well, venture into this career. I really do appreciate you coming. And I know it was a short notice, but you still made it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to being here again.
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you, Daniel. Keep watching. I'm going to bring a friend of mine, Zoe. Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Okay.
Nice to see you so much. Thank you so
I'm
much for
glad.
coming. How's school? How is it going? I know you're very busy. Maybe I'll let you introduce yourself because viewers may have seen you, but maybe they still don't know you. So maybe introduce yourself a little bit.
Oh, thanks so much, Kirsten. Hi everybody. My name's, as she has introduced, my name's Zoe Kuyanda, and I'm from Zambia. So I'm glad to be here. I wish I could do the whole long introduction like I did last time, but I think we'll get to know each other more and just really get to interact as I get to speak with my friend Kirsten. Thank
Yes.
you.
Wow, thank you so much for having you, Zoe. Zoe, you are a founder for at Girl Coders in Zambia. So, can you tell us a little bit how you are supporting and encouraging girls to pursue science, technology, engineering, and mathematics?
Okay, like my colleagues have mentioned, those were actually very brilliant points they brought out about STEM, its importance, its benefits, and why exactly that girl child we're trying to reach out to should pursue a career in STEM. So basically, on my end, I really get to flow with what the rest of the people have already highlighted, and I'll just get straight into responding how exactly I'm also taking part in ensuring that the girls actually having a hand or actually getting to have an opportunity to be encouraged to pursue a career in STEM. So, like you have mentioned, even in my introduction, I'm a young girl from Zambia, and Zambia is one country that I have seen to also have a challenge with regards to young people getting to have active participation in STEM. So
Yes.
for me, I founded a non-governmental organization, which is Girl Coders Zambia. So basically, with Girl Coders, we have actually taken up the interest to encourage young girls by holding mentorship sessions with young
Mhm.
people who are coming up, and we've targeted basically young girls who are still in school because it is a stage where they are really a bit confused. Some do not know what exactly they want to do. Some just have interest and they don't know how exactly they can just go ahead with um, professionalizing what their interests are. So with those mentorship sessions, we just talk about the endless possibilities that STEM has. We talk about the the good sides of STEM, we talk about its importance, and from that we're able to see that the young girls actually get to have interest. Because one thing I have noticed is people know what STEM is, but they do not know what is in for it for them. So if
Yes.
yes, I get into STEM, what am I finding? What challenges am I going to face? So it's those things that I feel are lacking, because in most cases, if these young people get to school, most of the focus in schools is just to build um, the knowledge of young people with regards to the subjects that are offered based on the current curriculum of the country. So it doesn't go further to actually explaining why am I learning science, why am I learning mathematics. It just ends on you need to learn this subject. So I think that's where I just felt the
Yes.
passion to just jump in and talk to these young girls, to just help them get that understanding of the reason why they should learn math, the reason why they should learn science and other courses that are related to STEM. Because with that regard, they'll be able to make the decisions on why they should pursue such careers or why exactly they should get into it. Because most of the information I have seen in schools
Mhm.
really gets to push to teaching, nursing. There's so much detail provided for these careers. But if we talk about engineers, we talk about programmers, people who are in IT,
Yes.
we talk about just mathematicians who are writing algorithms. It's rare that
Yes.
students will really have a deep understanding in such people with those professional careers. So that's where we come in as Girl Coders Zambia to just highlight and bring out what is in for them if they really got to pursue a career in STEM. So we leave it open because yeah, we cannot really go further into letting that girl child really pursue that career. So we just end at giving them that knowledge, and with the options that they have, they're able to freely choose whether or not they want to. Because for others, they just have that doubt. And because it's a male dominated section, so it's also really like a challenge. So if these girls really were given that push, that encouragement to say STEM is something that you can manage. It may actually be occupied by men, it's male dominated, but even as a girl, you really have the capacity and ability to become a great person in that career path. So that's one part for girl coders. And the other one is we have measured, even from the name coders,
Yes.
we get the concept of coding. So we've actually taken up the concept to also teach technology, which is in the actual aspect of coding. So we teach basic coding, we teach web development. We're also looking to get into a bit of robotics and software engineering.
Yes.
So that's what I would say on my end about what Girl Coders really is doing with regards to STEM and young girls.
Wow, Zoe, I'm just so proud of you. And I'm here to support you through and
Thank
through.
you.
Remember that we've got projects we'd like to do together. So I'm
Yes,
just
definitely.
so proud of what you're doing and just the effort of thinking in those lines of trying to educate the girls, to try to educate people around that when they venture into this type of subjects or classes, this is what they are going to become. If they, to expose them to coding, that is a very good gesture. I really, really, really uphold what you're doing.
Thank you
So,
so much.
the other thing I would like to talk to my viewers, please, guys. Zoe is on LinkedIn. I'm now trying to expose her. Please, guys, give her some support, some love. If there is anything that she may need, just to push this endeavor going, of course. And I don't know if you'd like to also tell some of our viewers, of course, Zambians will be watching. Is there anything that you need support around you concerning this program that you're doing?
Well, thank you so much for laying that platform for me. I was not really expecting it, and I'm glad. I'm a bit speechless, but it's good to always be ready.
Yes.
So, basically, the utmost help and support that I would really like from Zambians is just that heart of appreciating STEM. So
Yes.
it begins from that. So as girl coders, the greatest challenge that we have really is, I would say, maybe with the community, because
Mm.
people, like I said, it's the educational bit that is really lacking. So people do
Yes.
not know. So every time we reach out to young girls, try to probably speak to their parents, because looking at the age of the people that we engage, it's people who actually need consent from their guardians or parents before we actually get to engage them in the programs that we have. So the
Yes.
utmost support is, if you have this knowledge about coding, you have this knowledge about STEM, share it with the next person, especially in Zambia. I'm bringing it out as Zambians. We might not really have a platform to really get to upskill ourselves and build our section of technology, but it's always important. First, I'll just at mostly um, encourage that you tell the next person about the importance of technology. Like Kirsten has already laid this platform. We as Zambians also can also just have a platform where we can build for lack of better terms, maybe let me just use a platform, build platforms where the community and people can engage and learn about this. And one other thing also I would like is, if you're really interested also in seeing that technology and STEM are really imparted in the young girls, you can reach out to me, like Kirsten said. You can reach out on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever platforms that you would like. If anything, I could share my number in the chat or the comment section, and then we can begin to engage from there. It's
Yes.
important that we have partnerships, because um, it's always great to move with somebody. Alone, you might move faster, but together you move further. So if you'd like to engage, to have partnerships or anything, we're really open to that, because we really look to impact a number of girls. And the vision that we have is to see a lot of girls get engaged in technology, in science, in engineering, and in mathematics. But it looks quite hilarious because we're doing this on our own, but we're really looking forward to having more people on board so we could actually hold hands and do all this together. So it would not really be a 1 month show, but it's about Zambians and what exactly we would want to achieve. It's about the generation that we want to see, because we have already witnessed the fact that STEM is really the driving force for many things. So if we really got to step up and actually get to impart this knowledge in the young people, we are really building the next generation of people with
Wow.
knowledge of
And
STEM. And
Zoe, sorry not to cut you. You just
oh,
touched my
fine.
heart. When you say impacting the next generation, that's my passion, guys. The next
Yeah.
generation, to involve a lot of girls in the next generation. I know we may not be there in the next 100 years, in the next 50 years, but they'll look back and see, wow, there were women pushing, encouraging these girls to pursue science and technology. And that's really true. Guys, Zambians, you can help Zoe in so many ways, guys. And guess what? You put engineers in one place, guys. You put scientists in one place. You put health professional in one place. They can
Mm-hmm.
do so much work, guys. So
Yeah.
we need each other. Even on this platform, guys, I don't do this by myself. You see Zoe, you see you guys coming. I need you guys. I can't do this by myself. I will need, people like you. I need other people to participate. We need each other for us to be able to go further in front. So you never know what you can do if you guys team up. Even us from here, we can try to get some support for you, things like that. But we have to be more organized so that we can help girls out there. And guys, we are not only talking about Zambia, we are talking about other countries as well. We team up, we do great work. So appealing to Zambians engineers there, team up, let's help these girls, let's help boys just get to another step. We don't have to do so much, like, exaggerated as she's saying, but to
Sure.
start little by little. We can educate them little by little, showing them this is how you go into these classes, this is how you join these classes, things like that. Wow. So Zoe, still, I'm going to give you the last word to say. So what would you say to those girls that you're trying to encourage, and those girls that haven't yet started, and how would you want these girls to join you, to be part of you? Can you explain in details? How can they find you? What do you want from them? Express how do you want them to learn about this founder at Girls Coders Zambia?
Uh, okay, so it's for everyone watching and for everybody who's going to share this with someone who they feel they'd like to engage. Um, Firstly, I would talk about how you can find us. Is something free that you could actually get to. So our coding classes and every program that we have is free. You're not charged for anything. And if you'd like to reach out, we have social media platforms where you can just engage. And the easiest and most convenient right now being Facebook and WhatsApp. So we're on those platforms, and if you'd really be interested in engaging, then you could just reach out. We have the social media handles as Girl Coders Zambia across all platforms. So whichever you're most comfortable with, you could just reach out from there. So
Yes.
with us, there are no requirements. So you don't need to meet a specific requirement for you to be perfect to join. So whether you're in school, whether you're not in school, you're still eligible. The only thing that we look for in that young girl is the interest. That's it. So if you're interested and you reach out to say you really want to take part in that program, then you could always reach out, and we have some mentors, we have some people who can engage and just actually be able to run you through the process, who will be with you throughout the learning, the course of learning, until a point where you're actually able to stand for yourself. And one thing that we have really built, would want to build on, is actually getting to have ambassadors. So what we want is we educate that girl child, and what we do is impart the skill in that child such that they're able to offload and give to the next person, because we cannot do it on our own. So even as we are calling young girls to come, we are calling you not to become only participants, but also to become a part of us, to help us achieve this
Yes.
goal that we have. So it's just about reaching out. For others, they might be scared to say no. It's a program for geniuses, or require to see my
No,
results and all
no.
that, which is the case
Everyone
for
has
most.
a part to play in there.
That's true. That's right. So you don't need to be intelligent actually. So if I may actually get to think of it, there's just one time I sat to think. I feel um STEM is a lazy section. Let me not say okay, lazy in a good way,
In
because
a good way.
why I say this is we have automated a lot of things. Why? Because we do not want to do a lot of work. So
Yes.
I'll give an example of electronic systems. So back then, I think there was this person who was so tired of always working with manual work, with having papers all over, having to write and all that. So it's that laziness in them that
Yes.
built that instinct for them to actually find something
That's
electronic,
a
an
good
easier way
one.
of doing
Yes,
it.
of
So
course.
we actually want those people who are lazy, because they always find the easiest way of doing something. So you don't need to be
I
genius.
like that point. I really do.
That's right. You don't need to be a genius. We want that same laziness. So if you have failed in school, STEM is a way to go.
Yes.
Honestly, all the developments that we have are not always from the brilliant minds. They are from people who have actually seen a problem and seen that they need to find a solution. So, with regards to that, we have no requirements. So, you could always come through if you have that young fellow, you have a young sister, you have a sibling, a child. You could always just reach out to Girl Coders, and we'll be glad to engage with that person and just go ahead with our vision and mission to see that we have at least 60% of
Yes.
youth engaged in STEM. So for me, just one comment, sorry, before I go.
No.
There's one thing people get to ask, okay, would you really encourage, would you force someone? Because others think when I'm encouraging, when I'm talking about STEM, I am biased. People say I am biased, but it's just, please come to STEM. Why wouldn't you like it really?
So
It
what
gives you the
what do they
skill.
mean when they say you're biased? Like
Because
how?
when I'm encouraging someone, sometimes it's not that I'm pushing them in the corner, but I think for every time I talk about the advantages of STEM, it always
Yes.
points to me trying to tell someone to actually get into it, because regardless of the profession that you get into, STEM, just one field of STEM, should always be a skill that you have. You may be a doctor now, and if they require that you use an electronic system, how exactly are you going to go through it if you don't know any coding language? You don't know how instructions work with computers. How are you
Yes.
going to go through that process? You may be a bank account, you may be an accountant or a banker. You still get to interact with technology, you still get to interact with engineering. So I feel I always encourage them, if even if you get into any other careers, always give yourself time to at least pursue, just even it may not be a major, but just find time to pursue a career in STEM, because hand in hand with the career that you have, it always give you that top notch excellence, and it just brings out the intelligence. I think STEM is the new intelligence now, and if
And you
someone
know the
does
other
not
thing,
do STEM,
Zoe, STEM
yes.
also in every career, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's embedded with science technology. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's embedded with technology, if you think of it. So I always
Yes.
tell my, those that I'm trying to encourage, I said, technology is everywhere. Tell me where technology is not. In
Mm-hmm.
accounting, there is programming. In
Yes.
health profession, there is programming. In engineering, we are programming robots to help us maneuver things take things from one place to another. Um, in construction, there is technology. There is those machines that are actually now, taking either those bricks from one place to another, and also 3D printing. It's programming. So tell me one place in other careers that does not involve what Zoe is trying to impute in these young girls. Tell me, guys, leave a comment down there and say, Kirsten, I think here you are lying. This does not involve technology. Everything, especially in the next future, technology has evolved tremendously. In the
That's
past
true.
2 decades, it has moved so fast, such that in every area, we will need some kind of programming in everything, guys, that you're doing. If not programming, it will involve at least enhancing whatever has been existing. One good example I always try to give is, remember, from United States going to South Africa, we used to take 18 hours before. How long are we taking, guys? We are taking 15 hours now. So can you imagine in the next future, right now as we speak, they are working on actually even making it faster. So technology is going to be used somehow, somewhere, to either improve what's existing or changing what's existing or something like that. So what Zoe is doing, I don't think anyone can run out of it. And that's how maybe we can try to explain to these to people mostly, because I see sometimes some people get some kind of resistance. They're like, oh, you just want me to be in STEM.
That's true.
Yes, I do get that. And, sometimes you have to be patient to explain to them
Yeah.
exactly what STEM is and exactly what else can be done. So again, where can I know I asked this thing again. So how can they find you exactly? I don't know if you want to leave a phone number somewhere or.
Okay, if that's fine, maybe I can leave it in the comment section. I'll leave the social media handles and also the phone number that we use, most conveniently used on WhatsApp.
Yes.
So I can leave that comment section, and if there's anybody who would like to reach out, then yeah, they can use the platforms. We're active, and there's someone to really engage whenever they need something.
Okay. So, Zoe, could you give now the last word of, again, those girls growing in disadvantaged countries or disadvantaged area? How can they be encouraged to pursue science, technology, engineering, and mathematics?
Okay, yeah. So basically, that's something also I've been thinking about. So
Mm-hmm.
in being disadvantaged, for me, basically, I looked at rural, those who are in the rural setup, who really
Yes.
do not have an opportunity, and
Mm-hmm.
persons with disabilities. So I was looking at these two groups because
Yes.
I would put them on the side of being disadvantaged. So for those in the rural, uh, it being a place where they have very poor internet, even if they would want to move around, walk around, learning processes and all, it would be quite hard. But
Yes.
if there's anybody who's listening right now and they are marked as being in that section of being disadvantaged, there is
Mhm.
always a possibility. So I think what should be done now is just to put up systems that will just enable them to actually feel that they've been engaged and they're
Yes.
also a part of everything that we are actually getting to run to. So STEM really is huge and it's new every day. So others might think because we have been disadvantaged for a very long time, then it's not possible to join in. Then it won't be something they can hop into. So STEM is new every day. So even if you
Yes.
find this now, you still be at an advantage, even as much as you are been in disadvantaged side for a long time. Being a first day of knowing STEM is should just be treated as something that is new, something that has started on that particular day. So one other thing also I'd appeal to is like the people. So we have people really who are staying in those places and they have an opportunity to actually engage in such platforms or just have an opportunity to have access to places where STEM can be like an encouraging point or a place where they can get more information about it. I always encourage people to tell the next person something that they know about it because you might not know how far that message goes. So it's quite hard. And the fact that you've mentioned disadvantage, it talks about being hard to reach them. So for
Yes.
those who have an opportunity to reach them, in my place, I'm really working towards trying to be able to reach those people. At the moment, I'm beginning with persons with disabilities because we have
Mm.
those people, and I think they've been quite neglected in that field because STEM is deemed as something that is critical and it needs people who are really detailed, they pay attention to details. So I'm looking at someone maybe who has no sight. So how can we engage that person in STEM? They cannot.
Yes.
How exactly can they play a role? We're looking at
Mhm.
someone has uh, who has a hearing impairment. How exactly can we engage them? So that's something I'm just working towards and just engage with organizations that deal with persons with disabilities so that we can partner and just see how we can engage those people also in STEM and see
Yes.
also they can also play a role because if I have a disability, I'm disadvantaged and I learn
Yes.
this, the first people I'll think of are those who are in my circle. So imagine we
Correct.
teach or introduce 10 people. Those 10 people will speak to 5 other people who are in their circle. And with that, it's spreading. But if we
Yes.
do not engage them, we will not see change. So it's those people who we should target, and they will also be able to convey the message or actually just take that word out to the people who are like them. So to those who are disadvantaged, if there are any who are listening or if there's someone listening that knows a person of this sort, just reach out to them. Tell them about Kirsten. Tell them about Joseph. Tell them about all the people that have been on this platform or any person that you know who's in STEM. So they're able
Yes.
to reach out to them or they're just able to engage them in a certain way. So that's what I believe in. It's just about a word. So if you tell that word to someone, you just don't know how far or the you don't know how far that word will go. So it's just about mentioning and not keeping the knowledge that you have to yourself. So that's
Wow.
that's one thing I mentioned about people who are disadvantaged.
Wow, thank you so much, Zoe. I really do appreciate. That's very interesting, and would like to learn more and know about how that it's going. Again, guys,
Mhm.
support Zoe. She's trying to encourage girls to pursue science and technology. Founder for Girl Coders Zambia. So please support her, guys. I have one more guest that I'm going to bring in. Her name is Zikona. So please always stay tuned. So we're going to bring in Zikona. Hi, Zikona. How are you? I think you are muted. You might be mute. There
Okay.
you go.
Can you hear me
Hi.
now?
Oh, I'm so glad you made it. How are
I'm
you?
I'm so relieved I made it.
You
I'm
made
just
it
here.
just fine. Thank you so much for coming. So I'll let you introduce yourself so my viewers can hear from you. Yes.
Okay, so I'm Zikona Naledi Ndlovu. I
Yes.
am a scientist from South Africa.
Yes.
I am currently based in Pretoria because I'm doing an internship at a clinical research company.
Wow. Wow, wow, that's so interesting. Thank you so much again. So right now you are based in South Africa?
Yes.
Wow, thank you so much for coming, Zikona. I really appreciate. I was like, where is she? I hope she makes it. Thank you so
I was
much for
hoping I
coming.
make it.
Yes, you did. So, Zikona, so here it's a platform where we encourage girls to pursue science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And to see you where you are, it's such a marvel for people, for my viewers, and just me, and to showcase that there are women like you, like us, who are pursuing science and technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, Zikona, how did it start when you decided to pursue engineering, science? If you go back like maybe 4, 5 years, 10 years, what happened in your brain? Did your mother talk about science, or did you hear anyone? How did it start?
To be honest, in my family, I would say I was almost the only one who had an interest in science. so
Yes,
even amongst my so even amongst my siblings, I was the only one who actually had an interest in science. My sister was an autistic person. So
yes,
I think with me, the vision became clearer through my educational journey. So
yes,
starting from primary all the way to high school, I think as time went by, I became more aware of where I was stronger, where my
yes,
stronger suits were. So I would perform better in physical sciences and chemistry, and arts wasn't my thing. So I
yes,
think through my educational journey, it became clear that I was on the more scientific side.
yes,
Um, and then after high school, I didn't know what to do, to be
yes,
honest. I feel like I didn't have that much knowledge as to what other careers are available in science.
hmm,
So I ended up taking a gap year, then joined a science access program. And then
yes.
that's when I really found out more about the other careers that are available in science. And that's how I landed into clinical research.
Wow, wow, that's interesting. So, did your parents talk about science or people around you?
I would say my dad, but not that much
Yes.
still. My
Uh-huh.
dad I'm more like my dad. So, in terms of similarity
Yes.
in how we think, certain things like that, I would say I took it from my dad. But really, I think just being at school and having that educational guidance, that's where I really started knowing where I fitted in academically.
Wow, that's interesting. And sometimes we want to learn from how other scientists, how it happened from when they are growing up to where they are, because that will help the girls around to see how can they pursue, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, what are the
Yeah.
other challenges that you've had concerning your career up to where you are right now that you can share with our viewers? Because sometimes they think it's abnormal when they start going through certain things. They think, oh, I should stop, and
Mm.
or this career I won't be able to pursue it. So, what are some of your challenges that you encountered?
Some of the challenges I encountered, I would say maybe a lack of information. I think that
That
especially,
me too.
yes, especially amongst women, I would say there's not a lot of women that are speaking up about
Yes.
science and
Oh my God.
creating such platforms to
Mm-hmm.
educate other females about
Yes.
science and the many careers that you can take on as a young woman in science. So I would say lack of information mostly.
Wow. So did you have what would you say, did you have a role model when you were growing up to see, oh, I want to be like that? Or is it this thing you are just pushing it, just coming out of you?
It literally was something that I would say I didn't have anyone that I knew that did science,
Mhm.
that was my role model, that gave me information. There really wasn't anyone. I literally was guided during my educational journey. So I literally didn't have a role model at all.
Well, me as well, I didn't have a role model, and it was very difficult for me. Sometimes I wondered, I stumbled actually, that what is this I'm doing? Will it make sense? Am I going to get to the other side of the road? It was very difficult. And that's why I decided to make a platform like this, so that these girls that will watch you, Zikona, they will see that, okay, she has done it. She went through these things. That means I can also do it. Because can you imagine? I went through my career, I didn't see anyone, especially anyone who looks like me, number one. Anyone in particularly in I pursued manufacturing systems engineer, and I could not see anyone who was doing that. So it was very difficult and very, very painful at the same time, because out your background you're thinking, will this make sense? But guess what? Today I'm testifying, I'm like, wow, thank God I did it. So now, I really, really understand when you say that, you also didn't have a role model. And most of my guests who come here, they say the same thing. So let's change this, right? Let's
Yeah.
change this and try to show these girls, what they can do, and, how they can do it. So the other thing I wanted to ask you is, we have different privileges. For example, I'm in the United States, we have different resources. You're in South Africa, there you have different resources. And there are other people around you, girls, that do not have the same privileges that we may have, or maybe that you had, or we all fought in some area. So what would you say to a girl growing up that don't have those privileges? How can you encourage them?
Personally, I would say take advantage um, of education.
Yes.
If you can be in a situation where you can be given a chance to study, take that
Yes.
opportunity and grasp it with both hands and work hard. And when you get to university, now there's bursaries. There's a lot of funding options that are available.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
I would urge young girls to apply for those bursaries, and should they get them and get into varsity, don't waste time. Take it
Mm-hmm.
very seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and be self-dependent.
Yes.
Don't necessarily depend on your peers to
Yes.
assist you with your studies and so forth. Be independent, be your own person, and just work hard and make sure that you finish your studies. That would be my advice to young girls. Yeah.
Wow. And I see the drive in you and the passion. I can sense it. How did you get that drive of just getting that information, going to school? How do you get that?
I think, first of all, I'm a dreamer. I strongly believe in dreaming and working hard towards a certain goal. And I took advantage of lecturers. I would go to lecturers and I
Wow.
would speak to them and I would ask them
Yes.
questions. If not lecturers, even people, older students, PhD students that led our tutorials, I would
Mm-hmm.
speak to them. I would ask them questions,
Yes.
ask them what else is out there. And I think for me that really helped, because if I didn't ask questions,
Yeah.
then I probably wouldn't be where I am today.
Wow. Thank you so much. Again, guys, Zikona is a clinical research intern at Synex in South Africa, and she's still pursuing education.
Yeah.
It's an example of a woman pushing STEM, encouraging other women to push STEM. And I'm so glad, Zikona, to have you. I would love to have you again, because you're still in your career. This is a very good example for people who are pursuing STEM to see you flourish and who you are becoming. Would really love to see you again and come and share STEM with us and hang out with us again. sometime soon, if you can. Please.
No, of course. This is such a great platform. Thank you for even
Yes.
creating it, honestly. I've always wondered if there was something like this somewhere. So this is
Yes.
great. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad personally to meet you. I can't wait to see, many things that we're gonna do together and just hang out and,
Yes.
explore this system of STEM. Thank you
Mm.
so much. No, I really appreciate Zikoma. We'll see you soon, definitely.
Thank you so much. This is so amazing.
Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for watching my channel, guys. We've come to the end of the show today, and see you next Saturday, guys. Make sure you call everybody, call your kids, call your young ones, students. Let's learn from these engineers. Let's learn from these scientists who are pursuing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Guys, if you're coming here for the first time, make sure you subscribe to hear more and to participate as well. Thank you so much, guys, and ciao, ciao.